Have you ever wondered how a $15 billion company works? Well, today I'm exploring one of their locations so you can literally see how this business actually works. So I see all this stuff around. So what does All-Phase actually do?
So we have a huge network of manufacturers that we work with, that we are procuring those products from them for the best price possible, quality products that we can put our names behind. We're not manufacturing anything, we're not installing anything, we are simply getting the material from point A to point B. There's really nothing special about anything that we have here except the people that I have that work here. We're gonna put Shari on the damn camera here and he's gonna be entertaining. Shari says, you see that? That's entertaining. He is running. He says, I am out of here. Wayne, how long you been here?
Too long.
Too long. You hear that?
We're filming?
Yeah. Don't be saying all that.
One of our big trucks was stolen.
Oh, yeah.
They took it down to Bowling Green Myers parking lot and left it there. Well, then it got finally towed. Got it back.
After 2 years, they
After
recovered.
2 years, we
They
got
found
it
our
back.
truck. So they took the truck from us. They stole it from our parking lot overnight, tried to break into Best One to steal tires. And then 2 years later, we found our truck in
And we got it back. Now, that's not the end of it. I got the rest of this story. So then we get it back. We went and got tags for it. I had a bunch of wire going to Delaware, Ohio. I was in the truck going on 23 South to Delaware. And next thing I know, there's a couple sheriffs behind me. And they were behind me, put on their lights, and had me stop dead. I mean, southbound was dead stop. They had me blocked off and had me come off.
Oh, they had you put your hands?
Yeah, and they
thought he
said,
stole
shut
it.
down the
Yeah.
engine, come on. And then I backed up and got to the guy or the sheriff, and he goes, I'll tell you what's going on as soon as we get you cuffed. I said, fine. So, and then he says, the car or the truck come back, it was stolen. I go, oh my God.
There was another one that he was even better. Actually, well, not even better, but it was pretty good.
There's a few.
We did one. We was all decided to dress up for Halloween here.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jeff's got his costume, and then that day he has to drive. So he's wearing his costume and he's driving. Or actually, you wore everything but the hood.
Right. I had him masked. And one of our customers, I parked, didn't even think about it. There's a bank on the corner. Parked with my flashers on, and then went in to try to scare Marlene was her name, that she was there. And I just put it on, went in there. I come back out, and the cops were right there. And I had it off. I didn't have my mask on, and they're going, were you robbing the bank? I said, no. Oh yeah. There's another one where we have white vans that are not marked. Well, I'm going into Cary, Ohio, was delivering, and I was taking a lunch, and I pull in a park and just eat my lunch. Well, evidently, a week or so before that, there were calls that a white van was going around there with kids, and there was kids in the park. Thinking that, and then he come over and he just asked for. I got done eating it, and then I saw everybody looking at me like, "Man, what's that dude doing over there?" So he come over, the cop from the town come over and just asked for my ID, and I gave him my ID. I said, "No, I'm not a child molester."
That's what I like around here. It sounds like everybody's pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you hear stories about a multitude of things and just in their personal lives. We hang out with each other, outside of work. So
What, versus custom orders coming in, what's the sales looking like on that?
we are on track this year to be about a $25 million business. I would tell you that probably about 15 million of that comes through this building. Another 10 million of it goes direct to the end user. That we ship from the manufacturer. So we're quoting and we're processing that. And it's a business that keeps growing. It's an industry that keeps growing. We're seeing more and more being built and invested in our area around here. So it's propelled the business around here for sure.
What is your plans to grow it then? Because it's not a very linear
No.
exactly.
Government regulations help business in our industry. When they say that things need to be more efficient, when you can't sell incandescent light bulbs anymore, and you can only sell LED. Back when that first started, we used to have energy rebates, and in 1 month we sold almost 50,000 4-foot LED tubes. We have a super strong customer base. We are blue collar workers. Not only do they prosper, we prosper. And then obviously going to find new clients. There's always new people that are, popping up and starting their own business. And, those people are important. And so we go and try to identify those people and grow with them.
This little store, like people that walk through this door, how much is it doing?
So this little piece of it, just the counter sales, just people coming and pick it up. Annually, this portion is probably $4 to $5 million.
Really?
A business of just people flowing in and out of this portion right here.
That's so cool. What is the most interesting customer?
It's a pretty unique opportunity. They were buying it from somebody else. I provided a value add to them, put their names on these cords, and now they buy 1,000 extension cords from us a year. The total's over $100,000 worth of business. So you're sitting there like, well, what do you do? And I'm like, what do you sell? There's nothing I can't sell. And that's what's pretty cool about what I'm doing here is you go from an extension cords to a flat screen television to just your everyday outlet that you're plugging into, to charge your iPhone at night. We're doing all that. And that's what makes this business fun.
If you had $1,000,
Oh God.
what would you buy?
Oh, $1,000 to buy something here? Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. My wife really, really wants a hot tub. Now, a hot tub's going to cost me way more than $1,000. But thank goodness I know somebody that sells electrical stuff. That little box right there I need. And that inside that box is one of these little boogers.
Wait, so this is just the outside.
Yeah, that sits on the outside. And inside there is one of these funky things, right? And that's to protect you so you don't get shocked while you're in your hot tub. That's something you have to have out by your hot tub. So one of these things costs you about $125.
What do you mean? So why does this protect you?
It's if you have a surge or anything like that. So GFI is bringing a ground to it. So if you're in the hot tub and there's some electrical current that you're not sitting in a pool and getting shocked. So then you got to get some wire like this guy right here.
So why specifically this one?
Because this one is big enough, right? So that one was rated at 50 amps. So it's the same rating as like your stove. So a hot tub needs as much power as your stove does. Something like this that is commonly seen throughout the house is only going to get you 20 amps, probably about $3 or $4 a foot. Well, now I got another $150. So now I'm up to $250. And I haven't even hired an electrician yet.
On to the marketing.
Sure.
How do you guys get customers?
Being here for 50 years, there's already established customer base. There's already a knowledge of who we are. We're on the internet. We have this big building that's visible. But as a cold calling salesperson, we're identifying things. We're identifying places. We're reading the newspaper. As silly as it sounds, every single month I look at real estate transactions in the area.
Oh, really?
So I'm looking at who's coming into the area, who's bought the business. Hey, somebody just spent $1 million on XYZ. Just the other day, somebody spent $2.5 million in Lima, Ohio and bought 30 houses. Well, who is that person?
Yeah.
Why is that person buying this and what else does he do? Or he or she do? Or what does that company do? Are they coming from in town or what?
So you would say most of your incoming customers are from word of mouth?
We were a $15 million business and we're going to be a $25 million business this year. Dang. That's a substantial jump in 5 years. Yeah. Those good customers are coming back to us because of how we've treated them for however many years or however length of time.
I see you have all this inventory.
Yeah.
How do you know what inventory to even stock?
It's what our customers are desiring. But, uniquely, right? This aisle right here, to me, is worth about $250,000.
Damn.
About $250,000 just right through here with these green and yellow labels.
Wow.
This manufacturer alone, I have just shy of $700,000 here locally that we've invested in because it's the right material. It's what our customers are desiring, what they need quickly.
So are you trying to kind of estimating? It's like our customer.
Yeah. I'm looking at copper prices every day, what the copper market is. So, wire is another big thing here. We have, equally amount of wire dollars here. So it's $700,000. That is pure speculation. I'm trying to buy it as cheap as possible and I'm trying to sell it as high as possible.
Yeah.
Is home building up in Lima? Is there codes? Is there new people coming in? Those type of things. Are there new builders? Are there people looking to invest? And so when I talk to you about looking at the real estate transfers, well, I just saw somebody bought X amount of plots of land. I know that he's a builder in town. That means he's building houses and it's going to come.
So you guys aren't actually just going straight from what the customers have been buying. You're also going from, hey, I think people are actually going to start buying this.
Yep, absolutely. You know, we have $2.2 million worth of inventory in this building. You know, in the company I work for, I have the free will to just hit a couple buttons and spend that money, which is insane. The first time I spent $1,000 was incredible. And because I'm like, I don't even have $1,000 in my own bank account when I'm 20 years old, you know, first in this business. And here I am, and you know, you're clicking a couple buttons and you're spending $500,000. You own a house and man, I'm gonna pay on this thing for 30 years. And here we are in this world where you're just spending $500,000, and there's somebody that's paying for you that in 30 days, in 60 days. Like they're giving you all that money. How is this even a thing? Like I recently promoted somebody here within, which is a super awesome experience for me. Somebody that's been with me for 4 years, and he's doing some of the purchasing stuff now for me. And the first time he spent like 20 grand, he's like, I've never even bought a car that costs that much. And you're telling me that I could just go ahead and push a couple buttons and do that? And he goes, well, then what happens?
What is like the biggest loss you've ever had then?
People. So we're a family here, you know, with 17 employees. I care about each one of the people that work with me. I don't even like saying work for me, work with me, because I can't do this without them. So that's a loss. We've taken it on the chin a couple times where, you know, the market changed. Right now, price increases are happening. You know, we already bid something at XYZ pricing. Pricing went up, but you know, that's dollars. When you lose friendships or even deaths, you know, we had somebody had terminal cancer. She passed away. We had an ex-employee that got in a bad car accident, passed away. So those things hit you really hard. And then you just have natural progression of people, you know, looking for other opportunities. Maybe it's not what they were looking for in life, but honestly, we don't have that. More than half the people here have been here for over 30 years. You know, that's a really tough thing when somebody says, you know what, I'm going to move on, and that's okay. I support this, and half the time I'm telling these people, hey, I don't think this is for you. You have a career in music. You have a career as a religious leader. You had a career in plumbing. I'm telling you about people that have left me in the past in my 17-year career and moved on. College students that, you know, came here and just worked through this summer, and you knew at some point they were going to leave, but at the same time you built a good relationship with them. And so some pretty unique relationships I've been able to build. So loss is a tough word. Loss financially, you move on. You know, money is just one thing. Relationships and lives are so much more important to me. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of people here stick around, and a lot of reason why we're successful.
Let's say an order comes in. How are you guys fulfilling that order? Like take me through the steps of having to get to the computer or something?
Yeah, so you know, they're calling into one of our salespeople here. We have 8 salespeople. Those people are entering orders, gets printed off, and the warehouse is organized in as such that manufacturers are grouped together like products are, and they have locations where they're supposed to go and pull them. So we have guys back here in the warehouse that are helping pull those orders and fulfill those things. Package those things up, label them correctly, and then, you know, check them. And then every morning we're sending out typically about 4 delivery trucks a day all over Northwest Ohio, to whether it's a job site, to a contractor's business, to an end user. Like I said, you know, we could be delivering to a hospital, a school.
Is each individual thing organized in?
Yeah.
So like, do you have like?
Yeah, everything has part numbers. So we're in a process now of switching over some stuff to different manufacturers that we think that we're going to support. So if you come over in this direction, you'll see that everything is starting to get organized here. We actually have all of our labels that we're printing off to tell exactly what the part numbers are. But in the computer system, it's printing off and telling them, hey, this is row EA, and they're supposed to come to row EA.
I didn't even notice that at the beginning.
Yeah, so we have rows that we're trying to label. Not perfect. We're not like your big, you know, mainstream warehouse. A lot of things are very fluid because you asked earlier, how do you know what products is stock? Well, I don't. It changes every day. Every day you feel like you might have to stock something different. So I can't just say this is the only place where this thing is ever going to be, because maybe there's something more important that my customers need, and now I don't want to stock that anymore. And we got 5,000 part numbers here in this building, and so that's a tough thing to do, and that's a small fraction of what we overall sell. But the unique thing is, you know, one piece that's this big could cost pennies, $1. Another thing, the identical size, could cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. Here, I'm gonna grab something and I'm gonna show you. We'll make a good point here. That box, $500.
Okay.
That box, 10. If I lose this and this goes away, all right, I just lost $10. If I'm losing this out here, I'm like, what just happened? Guys, we can't be losing $500.
Somebody comes through, they grab the product.
Yep.
And then what do?
So they bring it back up here, where we have, this is kind of our staging area, which is a little bit of a mess right now. So, and then they put them on different routes. These are the smaller boxes that we're using. We have our own personal brand labeled boxes, just like Amazon might have.
Nice.
Right. So you do those things, and it's just a little bit of personal touch. It might go in there, it might go in a box.
So they're putting on like north route,
Yep.
south route,
Yep.
things like that.
Yeah, and then that tells which direction it's going. So these are orders that have been filled. Okay, this is a cart that has been filled, and these orange tickets are telling them, what the material that they need to pull off the shelves.
So these come in, and then I'm assuming the office prints these
Yep.
out.
Yeah, so the office is printing something like this out. We're fulfilling these orders. It's telling us exactly where they're supposed to go. The bin location is telling us where we go. Over here is telling us how many we have available here locally. We're seeing what the customer is, their PO. We're just trying to organize that. That's who's checked it. It gives us all a brief snapshot of what we're doing. We're actually in the process here in the next 6 to 8 months that we are going to be converting everything will be electronic then.
For like any of the people watching that are like looking for a logistic thing like this,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to say like what software is it, or is it like a proprietary?
Everything's proprietary. We have a huge IT team down in Irving, Texas. So we have, there's app developers down there. Salesforce is a backbone to our website, so customers can order through that if they'd like. But every other thing that we utilize is a proprietary system.
And so do you think there's an advantage in that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So industry as a whole is probably $100 billion a year. And, our company is going to do between 10 to 15 billion. And we're probably the third largest, in the United States. When we have everything internal, legitimately, everything from information systems, IT stuff, to legal, to fleet management, all those type of things, those people down in Irving, if I have a need, if I need to call somebody today and say, hey, I want this fixed, it's not talking to some random person. I have it now. I can have an answer now.
I didn't think about that. That's
yeah.
super interesting.
Yeah, so it's like me running a small business here, but having a big business backbone.
I like that.
Yeah,
That should be a tagline.
it's how, and when you buy into that, it makes the business run smoother. This truck right here with the that's open, there was a bunch of pipe on it that we took off that will go into our inventory, and then obviously customers are hopefully buying that material.
Yeah.
There is a chance that some of it could already be sold. All 4 of these containers out here have product for jobs that we're staging. So there's a school being,
all 4 of these.
all those things are filled with product in them that customers have already paid for, or we're storing them here and waiting until they say that they need it. So schools are being built. They need to procure it now. They need.
They said they needed it, like they just don't need it right this moment.
Correct. They want to make sure that they have it for exactly when they need it. So when they call us, they could call us today and say, hey, I need everything in that storage container tomorrow. So now it's our job to make sure that that happens. So we have it here waiting for them to do that.
So do you charge a little extra
We
if,
do.
if
We
it
do.
has to wait? That
Yeah.
makes sense
Yep.
since you have to keep inventory.
Yep. So we keep it here, and they're just that service that we're trying to provide to people. There's nothing unique about the product in there. It's just about what we're trying to do to help out and capture that business with the customer.
What would most of these like be used for?
This stuff right here is, you'll see more in industrial. This is a heavier wall stuff. This stuff is going to be in a heavier manufacturing facility, refineries.
Oh, so these are just, so we have the copper wires and everything that we just seen.
Right? They're going to connect all these links, and they're going to run wires through them.
So Brian, you don't actually work here?
I don't work at this location. I work at the Springfield location.
You love doing it though?
Oh, I love it. It's the funnest job I've ever had.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I just like dealing with the customers every day. It's just more like, it's built like a family out here.
So I'm wondering about that. Since like the customers are probably more higher paying customers, I would assume. Are they a lot easier to deal with? Because like they're kind of coming to you. It's like, hey, we need this, versus like retail and
more
stuff
money
like that.
doesn't mean easier. That can be a little bit. They can be a little bit more demanding, right? Some of the bigger people, they have a little bit more restrictions of what they want and how they want things done. But that's why Brian's successful and Jeff and all, our teams are successful because we're able to tailor our businesses to meet that customer's needs. So yeah, they can. Man, I'll tell you what. I don't care how much money you throw at me. If you're not a nice person, we don't enjoy you, right?
So Brian, you like it because it's almost like a family. It's like you kind of been dealing with these people for so long, I'm assuming.
I like dealing with the same customers every single day. Like we have a great rapport and everything. So for me, I just like dealing with the same people every day, and they always like me coming into the warehouse. They treat me like family. So
So let me ask you, Brian, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you on the job?
so actually this happened.
Oh, you had this story ready.
I'm telling you. So it's like probably maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. I was just driving down on 75, and I saw this girl. She actually ran right into the median and flipped her car upside down.
You seen this? Like you were just
I
like
was
right
literally
behind
the
her?
next car. So yeah, that was actually the craziest story.
Did you have to swerve or anything?
I actually had to just pump my brakes really fast because she was literally right in front of me.
You were in like
I was in this truck actually.
this truck right here.
Yep.
Do you ever have like any like bad like customer, like mad customers that you have to deal with at all?
Not really. I mean, me, I'm a delivery driver, so I just pretty much say, here, sign here, here's your product, have a good day, So they can't get really too mad at me. So
Would you recommend people work at All Phase as well?
oh, for sure. Especially if you work for somebody like this guy right here.
Listen to him. Oh, that's why I got you on camera, Brian. 'Cause I knew you'd pump me up, buddy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Dave's a good guy.
I appreciate it, Brian.
All right, thanks,
Cool,
Brian.
man. I appreciate you.
Hey, good
Thank
seeing
you.
you, man.
Man, good
Appreciate
seeing
you.
you
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, that was the perfect. You picked the perfect person.
Oh, he's a great guy.
The bare minimum, you had the minimum amount of employees and everything. What do you think would be like the bare bones to be able to run this business?
Successfully, I would tell you right now, I'm probably too light on employees.
Really?
We run very lean. The industry standard is about $1.5 million a person. Me running here with 16 people, that would tell you that I should be doing 16 to maybe 24 million on the high side, and we're at 25 million. So I'm on that very high side of that, and that's a thing. So could we do it with less? Yeah, but I would tell you that the stress and the quality of life of people would not. Yeah, people would be working a lot more than they were, and that's just not conducive to a good work environment. My most senior person started when he was 17 years old. I would tell you he is the #1 electrical salesperson in Northwest Ohio, and I don't even think it's close. He's been here for 42 years. You're talking about a person that came from nothing and is so humble in life, but he still just keeps on pushing. First one here, last one to leave. I mean, I had to tell him, a year ago, please stop coming in at 5 a.m. That's the kind of people that make this business what we are. I've got another gentleman that, he didn't go to college. He is, since in the 3 years that he's been here, he has grown to be a $3 million salesperson on the inside. He's gotten married, has his first kid, bought his house. You're talking about somebody that's got his life together, and he's 21 years old. And you can't be more proud of somebody like that.
The coolest product. What is it?
Coolest? I don't know if anything is
product.
cool. I don't know.
Most interesting product you have in
Jeez,
here.
Pete. We'll just show you one of the most expensive things. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, there's 4 reels right here that you see, massive reels. Are all copper wire.
Oh, this is copper? It just has like a...
Yeah, it has a coating on it, right? Okay. So they can pull it through and they can power up something that looks like that. That's a switchboard, but that's every manufacturing place is gonna have it. That's ours, right? That's old, that was put in the 70s. Okay, so this powers up that.
That powers up that?
Yes. Well, it would eventually, okay? But anyways, so this right here, just these 4 right here, 20, 30, $180,000.
Here.
Each one of these weighs over 4,000 pounds, so over 1 ton.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we are going to cut this into smaller pieces. We're going to put it on reels, and we're going to deliver that to the customer, and then they're going to power up, and then a manufacturing, somebody's going to make something that somebody needs in this world. We're also giving our customers time to pay, so they're not paying right away. Counter's a little bit different. That the storefront's a little bit different with credit cards. But our big contractor partners that at any given time could owe us $500,000. We're giving them 30 days, 60 days, whatever it might be to pay that invoice.
When you do like 30 days, 60, isn't that called like net 30?
Yep.
Net
Yeah,
60?
net means that you get no discount, right? So you have to pay it in 30 days. So there's a penalty per se, just like you would if you had a credit card. Other customers, we might offer them a discount to encourage them to pay quicker.
Would that be like an advantage sometimes? Like if you had like an order, you wanted a customer to pay a little quicker because then you can take that money and put it somewhere else?
Correct. The quicker the customers pay, for me, it's more profitable, right? So I'm turning my money. So if I owe $2 million, but I also have customers paying me $2 million, well, that dollar figure becomes zero. But if I owe $2 million and I only have $1 million coming in, well, now I have to somewhat finance $1 million if it's net 30. So similarly, if my bills aren't due to the manufacturers for 60 days, but I tell my customers to pay in 30 days, well, now I've got a back-end cash flow in case that deficit comes. The industry standard is probably 45, 50 days.
Let's say you sold all 4 of them. How much do you think you would make off of it?
It's already pre-sold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I already sold that. I've already got the money for it. It's just sitting back there waiting for them to tell me when they need it.
That's so cool.
So on that stuff right there, I was able to capture about a 15% margin. So take 180,000, 15% is $27,000 that I made on that.
So why are like schools and any other business, why are they like buying something early and then kind of like waiting?
They're playing the market.
So they're buying it for the prices as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so they're buying. So right now, all these tariffs that we keep hearing about, right? People are going wild trying to buy stuff before tariffs hit. I know that this stuff takes 6 months to get to be produced and whatever. So I need to buy it now, even though I'm not going to need it for 8 months.
Interesting. So like, how much does like one of these things right here cost?
Those ones aren't as much as something if you get down this way. That is 3/4 stainless next to a 3/4 heavy wall. That's not.
It's called what?
Heavy wall or galvanized. Okay. One of these, just that thing right there, costs $120. That thing right there costs $25. So for the same exact looking thing, does the same physical thing, but you have different markets. So this would go in like food industry, where they manufacture around here in West Central Ohio. People don't realize there's a ton of food manufacturing, but like something like that right there is about $100.
Are you saying like you're gonna sell it for $100 or you had to pay it?
Pay.
What do you think you would sell something like that for?
It just depends. So if somebody just came off the street, there's a different margin. So we set our margins based on the demand and the type of customer. If somebody came off the street today and just bought that, they're going to pay probably $125. For one of our really good customers that uses a bunch of that, well, I can't sell it to him for $125 or he won't buy it from me.
Yeah.
So I might be selling it, at only like a 5-10% markup, where somebody else might be paying a 40% markup.
What is this thing?
That's to take all the wire off. So this is how we use... We're actually getting one repaired, so...
we used it to get that wire.
Yeah, so we're going to put one of these on there. This will sit on that.
Okay.
And then this thing will turn. The motor will turn this thing, and it will pull that off there, so we can cut it to length.
And that's what you give to the customer.
Correct.
Interesting.
With the 4 different colors on there.
Another thing I've learned is that this business is way more fluid than I thought. Like it's almost like it is an investment business. Like you're buying stuff early because you think the prices are going to raise or the demand's going to raise. But then people are also buying from you because they think the price is going to raise and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the stock market for me, import, export, how things get from point A to point B has always been something that I've been truly interested in. This was a business that I entered into and didn't know that was part of it. In 5 years, I've put $250,000 into this building, just making the building better, making a more desirable place to work for the employees, an easier place to work.
I'm kind of curious with this thing right here.
Yes.
How much is this thing?
$35,000.
35,000. That's a lot. That's a lot less than I thought it was going to be. Is that the most expensive piece of equipment you have?
No, the forklift that was 40. But then besides my trucks.
So essentially anything electrical, you guys have.
Yeah.
Or can have.
Can have. Or we can have TVs. Or, we
anything,
can
anything anybody wants.
We can have extension cords with your name on them. They can be any color that you want to. They can be bright pink.
Ooh.
If you would like. I don't
Nice.
have any bright pink extension cords around here, thank goodness, but it's very common for contractors to want those because then people aren't going to steal them.
Really?
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? Who wants to carry around a pink extension cord, a bright pink? I mean, maybe you do.
As a person running a $25 million business, what is your philosophy?
I care. I flat out care. I am a emotionally driven person. I care about every single person here. I care about my customers. I care about my manufacturer partners, the people that are providing this. I'm a caring person. Sometimes I care too much. Sometimes I'm a too easy a person. But if you don't care, you can't be successful. You got to care about yourself. And when all those things kind of come together, you got customers that care about you, we care about them, and it's reciprocal. It makes it fun, it makes it enjoyable, and it makes it successful. Well, you got to go ask questions. You got to start, just not be afraid to ask questions. And so me, where I'm in the middle guy, I'm buying stuff just as much as my customers are. I'm asking questions. I'm building those relationships. But at the same time, ask the questions back. Pose those questions back to them. Find out about them. Be involved in their business. And you can turn any business successful in that aspect. I mean, that's when I met you. I mean, you came here, you started asking me a bunch of questions. I'm like, man, this guy's interesting. He's interested in me. I'm interested in what he's doing. And it builds a quick bond just there by asking questions and actually being invested in somebody's life.
What's the hardest thing you've ever had to do?
The hardest thing that I've had to do is not live up to expectations.
What do you mean by that?
When I promise somebody, I really, really want to uphold that. And to go back to somebody and say, sorry, I can't do that, that's tough. Easily the hardest thing that I've had to do here. Furloughing people, letting an individual go. And still having confidence that I was doing the right thing. Because there were people that I care about.
Yeah.
So,
if you had to say it as quickly as possible, why should people work here? And then why should people do business with All-Phase?
people should work here because you are going to have a place that cares about you, that respects you, and a place that is going to provide for you and your family. I could have never dreamed when I started here that I would be in the position I am, with 4 beautiful children, a beautiful wife, a beautiful home, and a beautiful place to work. That I'd still be here 17 years later. Had no idea. And that's it. Why should people do business with us? Because you're going to get people that truly care about what your success as well, but you're going to have some honesty. You should do business with us because we're going to do business the right way. We're going to take care of our problems. We're going to take care of our mistakes, and we're going to make you just as successful as we hope to be ourselves.
I just want to say thank you for everybody at All-Phase for being so nice and welcoming, and for all of you watching. I completely 100% recommend working here and doing business with them, because when you're dealing with All-Phase, you're dealing with genuine, honest people.